Okay, everybody, welcome. Today is May, sometime in May, May 12th, 2021, and I'm going to tell you all about what I got going on in my investment group, my other certified land investors. Well, they'll be certified once they finish the whole process. So as I said, make sure you can see me, hear me okay. Every time I do this, everything's always something different, something going on. I never know when you guys can see me. I don't see your comments or replies until much later. But please reply and comment as we go. I'm asking you guys questions just to make sure we're on the same page. I want to make sure the information I'm sharing with you is information that you want to hear. All right. So today, as I said, I'm going to tell you about what it's like to be in my group. Now, I call it my group because I started it, but it's not necessarily I'm the leader of the group. I don't, while I do introduce people to the land investing niche, I don't want to consider myself as some kind of guru or something like that because just like a lot of you guys, I'm learning as well. There's a lot of things that I have not done before that I'm doing for the first time this year, all because I was able to build on the skills that I'm sharing with you guys. So when I first started the group, it was very much going to be, hey, let me just show some people how to do some land investing. It saved my life. It saved my financial career. I know it can save other people. I know I can show them some cool stuff that they may not be getting from other programs. So I was really excited about that. If you don't know me, my background is I am a coach. I coach basketball. I've been coaching entrepreneurs for a couple of years now. I'm getting better at it all the time. And I got my certification as a mastery coach. So when I'm talking about coaching, it's not just like, let me show you the X, Y, and Z of how to do this. It's, hey, what's going on here? We had a game plan. We didn't follow that game plan. Let's figure out why. Let's see what's really going on beneath the surface. And then as I dig deep, and we discover together what are those things that's holding you back. For some people, it is limiting beliefs that they developed in childhood that perhaps it served them well when they were younger and it was the brain's way of protecting itself. But as adults, it's holding them back. Maybe it's just a mistaken belief that, you've heard something from somebody. You're like, well, I have no reason to not believe it. So I'm just going to keep rolling with that. But then it's not until somebody shows you a different way to do it or some alternative information that you realize, oh shit, maybe I was mistaken. I had no idea. I didn't have a point of reference. And we learn. So when I say coach, that's what I mean. Now, in the group, it's real simple. I've shared with you a lot of information that, you know, I guess is the traditional land investing. It's like the fundamentals. Now, the stuff that I share with you here is also the fundamentals, but then with the group, I get a little deep. In fact, I get a lot deeper. Now, what are the fundamentals? Well, the fundamentals is the stuff that everybody teaches, like how to find an area to invest in, how to find properties to invest in, how to do some due diligence to invest before you decide to go and invest in that property, how to do a transfer, how to market the property once it's in your possession, once you're marketing, how to do sales, and then once you finally make a deal to sell somebody, how to collect money and how to actually do the transfer so now it's in the new person's name. Now where I'm different is, in fact, let me tell you my experience with other programs. One, talking about how to find a property and all that, that part is actually pretty simple. A lot of people talk about it, and a lot of people have their own different techniques and ways to do it. And from my personal experience, it's all pretty valid. Sure, I may like one technique more than another, but it doesn't mean that that other technique doesn't work. It's more that, with my personality and my work style and things like that, I would rather do things a different way. That's all great, well, and good. Also, what people talk about, which I don't necessarily understand as much, when it's time to do due diligence, they have people, especially newbies, pay a title company to do this work for them. Now, I understand the reasoning for this. Now, as a course creator, people are worried about if they're going to actually not just follow things, but they want to kind of probably cover their asses, the CYA clause, cover your ass, because they're like, well, I want to make sure this person, if they are buying a property, they're not buying something that's not good for them, that can get them, I wouldn't say into trouble, but just maybe a bad investment. And then that way it's not coming to me as that course creator. And I see that a lot. Here's the issue with that. A lot of people, when they get started out, they're buying properties that's only worth five, six, $700, $1,000. But then you're asking that new person who doesn't know better because you didn't teach them better to actually do title insurance for $1,500, $2,000. Doesn't make a lick of sense. And that doesn't include if you have to pay any liens, any back taxes, or anything like that. Because here's the thing, most people will sell to you if you take care of the problems for them. So I'm not saying that the title company won't tell you about the liens or the back taxes or anything like that, but they're not going to make it easy for you to be like, hey, pay this so we can get this deal going. So sometimes they'll be like, hey, we can process this deal. You can pay the taxes and things like that later. But other times it's just a holdup. And another thing I like to talk about, which I talk about often, is that the closing process when you're using a title company takes a long time. The shortest I've personally heard or seen is about 10 days. Now, you may say, oh, well, compared to 30 days, that's not too bad. Well, it takes me 30 minutes. And I'm not talking about 30 minutes to do a rush job, 30 minutes to kind of casually glance at stuff. Most of that time, that 30 minutes, I'll say 30 minutes to an hour, most of that time is actually looking at the stuff that matters, the deed, the title chain, how things were passed, liens on the property, mortgages, things like that, things that you can look up. And I've done a talk about this before where the work that I teach is the same work that a title company does. I knew this from before. I have a friend that also works at a title company now. They're getting trained, or they were getting trained. I'm pretty sure they're fully done with their training and they're just working for the title company. Um, in title stuff and in like escrow and accounts and financial matters and things of that nature. And I asked them like, hey, so this is what I do to make sure that a property is going to be a good investment for me. And they're like, yeah, that's pretty much what we do, the same thing. The only difference is they may have some tools that make some of the job a little bit easier. So that instead of having to go to a couple different sites on the county or third parties or whatever, they have everything kind of in-house where they can do that. And if they have a question for like a lawyer or something like that, for like an unusual case, they have somebody in-house they can talk to. But in general, it's the same thing. The difference is, well, I can do it myself. It doesn't take that much time. And in three, if I do have a legal question, I will have to seek outside advice. I do have lawyer friends, I have paralegal friends, and I got other friends that are in this business as well who's actually dealt with certain things that I may haven't dealt with yet. So when I talk to them, they can be like, all right, cool, got it, got it, got it. All right. So going on with that, a lot of people, that's what they teach, that's what they show. It's a title company for those three reasons. That's why I don't like a title company. Now, the beautiful thing is, I show you how to do this myself. The way I do it, I show you guys how to do it. That doesn't mean you can't use a title company. I just think it's a giant waste of time and money because again, it only takes me 30 minutes to an hour. So I get everything done that same day and get things sent out to the owner so that I could do the transfer, as opposed to waiting 10 days, getting a ton of signatures, putting the buyer through a ton of hoops, or excuse me, the seller through a ton of hoops. And you're wondering why you ain't getting that many deals. And you're wondering why everything takes so long. And you're wondering, hey, I start to be preemptive and start to advertise this property, but it's not in my possession yet. So even though I have a buyer on the hook, I can't sell to them. That's why I do things differently. Now, the rule of thumb for a lot of people is if you're paying $5,000 or more for a property, then yeah, you want to do title insurance. I bought a property that was worth 10,000, or a bunch of properties that was total of $10,000. I didn't pay title insurance. It was fine. Sure, it was all from one person, but I mean, most people, that's how it is for most people, right? Instead of buying 10 properties from one person, you buying one big property from one person. Same process. Nothing changes. I'm doing the same thing that other people do. And I teach that in the group. But when a lot of people tell you, like, hey, yeah, get title insurance, do it this way, do it that way, I don't, besides the cover your ass part, I don't understand why. I just don't get it. To me, my personal opinion, put in the comments if you've actually been through this. Maybe you can correct me, educate me on this. It seems that they don't either know how to do it or they're so far removed from that because maybe these people are bigger and they've been doing this for so many years that the deals that they're pulling down are like thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. So they're buying properties, either a ton of properties at once or a lot more bigger properties. So they're throwing 30, 50, $70,000 per property or per bundle or however it is. So maybe that's the case. Maybe those numbers are a little overinflated from just my guessing, but I don't know. But let me know, why do you think people, they teach the title insurance route and not show people how to do it themselves? Because this is actually, I see a common theme, right? So I'm still talking about what other people do and where I'm different. Now, when it comes to the transfer, again, the title insurance will do it. I'll show you how to do it. Some people will show you how to use online recording services or how to mail in the deed. But that part is pretty self-explanatory, right? And then if the title company don't do it for you, it's pretty easy for you to do yourself. The other thing a lot of people don't show you is how to market properly. They'll tell you, oh yeah, put your property on this ad, or excuse me, put your ad up for this, on this platform, do it on that platform, and then they're like, okay, and sit back and wait. And like you're like, okay, you did it, but then they didn't show you how to write good ad copy. They didn't tell you what people actually want to hear in their ads. They didn't tell you what platforms work best for which types of properties. They don't tell you when people are starting to inquire how to respond to those folks. So how you can either update your marketing so you don't have the same questions and you can answer it kind of preemptively, or they don't show you about the next portion I'm about to talk about, which is sales. And sales is a whole different animal. Marketing is very important because if they don't know you exist, you can't sell your property. But let's say you do a decent job of marketing. Let's say you have a property that is so premium, but you're charging so little money, it just sells itself. You still got to be able to be on the phone, talk to people, and ease their fears. Now, I've done a previous talk about that on easing your fears or easing their fears. And I talk about both sides of the coin, buying property from somebody and selling property to people. But here, most people, they don't talk about sales and marketing. Now, in the comments, whether you're watching this live or you're watching the replay, let me know why you think that is. I don't know. I can only guess. I can't read people's minds, but my guess is number one, they don't know how to sell the market, so they can't really teach what they don't know. Number two, they feel that it's unnecessary because land just sells itself. Or number three, they do know how to sell, they do know how to market, but they feel they will be creating competition and they don't want to deal with the competition. Those are my three guesses. If you feel any of those guesses are correct, please let me know in the comments, again, live or replay, because I don't understand. Like, it's the most important part. And this is a skill, marketing and sales, that doesn't just translate to land investing. Anytime you're trying to make money from your own business, your own investments, whatever it is, you're going to have to sell and market. You got to sell, especially in places that you don't expect. So, like, even if you're trying to get someone to join you in investing with you, you got to sell them on the opportunity and let them understand what they're going to benefit and how they're going to benefit from, working with you or whatever. If you're marketing, you got to let people know that you exist so people even have the idea to even talk to you about these things. So these are skills that are vital, and I'm not sure why people aren't teaching them. Now, does that mean you got to be a world-class marketer or seller to sell property? Hell no. In fact, if you've seen some of the ads I used to put out when I used to sell property in other places that I'm not in right now, you will probably laugh at me. You'll make fun of me, and you'll probably take my ball and kick my face in the sand. All right. I mean, it was that bad. So you don't got to be good at it, but you have to understand the importance and have the desire to want to listen and learn on how to do it better. Now, the transfer for the sale, that part's pretty simple. And, it's the same way before, right? So that's what a lot of people will teach you. So here's where I'm different. Number one, I'm not just a course. All right. Write this down. I'm not just a course. Sure, I have videos and things like that. Certain things don't need to be repeated because, well, I used to do a lot of one-on-one coaching. And I noticed when I was doing my one-on-one coaching that I would repeat a lot of the same thing, which was annoying. But more importantly, person A may get better advice than person B because maybe just the questions that person A asked, I was able to fill in more of the blanks. Maybe person B didn't have as many questions, and because of that, I wasn't as thorough. Or maybe just because as a human, I forgot to mention certain little details and nuances that I just wasn't thinking about because I was trying to make my point to person B. But either way, person A and person B, they're getting two different sets of information. Not completely different, but it wasn't enough where I could feel very satisfied that I hit every point. And then you start adding more people into the mix. I'm adding other clients and I'm helping them invest and things like that. Well, guess what? Now I'm like, okay, what did I tell this one person? What did I tell that one person? It gets messy. It gets very messy. And then I was also I also used to record my one-on-one sessions with people so they can go back and look at them. And if they had any questions or they forgot what I said, instead of like trying to ask me and trying to remember what the conversation was, and just go back to the video, go back to the replay or the recording, watch it a few times, learn some things. And then if they still have questions, they had more clarity on what to ask. That took a lot of time. And I know a lot of people aren't always going back to all of the conversations. So it's not a big deal to record them, but after a while, you run out of storage space. So what I decided to do for my group, is to, number one, take all the different one-on-one lessons I had, go through all of them and see the things that I needed to say, right? Obviously you have the common points, but then you have the little nuances that they don't happen all the time, but they're important to know. And I put that in a curriculum. And then I updated that curriculum with what I'm doing right now, not what I did in 2020. What I did in 2020 was pretty good, but like you, I keep moving forward. I keep trying to find the best ways to do things. I keep trying to learn new skills, polish the skills that I have, and keep kicking ass. So I put all of that together. And then because it's already a comprehensive course, going back to edit a video or add a supplemental video, it's easy because everything is already there. So that's what I've done for the video curriculum. Now, again, a lot of people will do that and call it a day. Now it'd be good. Maybe to have another Facebook group. Not a bad thing. Not bad at all. But for my group, I decided I didn't want to put things on Facebook. Not because it's of privacy, anything like that, because I wanted their undivided attention. And I didn't want distractions from other things. I wanted the sim to focus on land, because when you're learning a new skill, you need to make sure that you can clear your mind and you can just focus on one thing. When you're on Facebook, it's tough to do that. Now, in this free Facebook group, it's not a big deal. A lot of bite-sized information. You casually browse, you see some of the posts I make or some of the things people are saying as you're scrolling. It feeds that mind a little bit. You can get you like, oh yeah, land investing. I should really look into that deeper. I should, try to put my first list together, things like that. But when you make it that decision, and you're like, you know what, I'm doing this for real. I'm doing it full time, or maybe not full time, but I'm gonna commit myself to this, and I'm gonna block everything out. Facebook is not going to help. It's a lot of distractions, a lot. Right? Another thing with my group, I made it a group. I got the videos and all that. Yeah, cool. Everybody has that. I try to keep you away from Facebook, and we interact in a different way when you have access to me. But third, I've noticed when I have my one-on-one clients, a lot of them could actually share information. They could actually help each other out. They could also inspire one another. Now, show of hands or write in the comments, whatever you want to do. How many of you actually feel inspired watching somebody at your level achieve? Now, I'm not talking about get the big bag. I'm talking about, oh my God, they actually did the thing I was nervous of doing. They show me that it is possible. It could be putting that first list together. It could be contacting that first group of people that you haven't contacted before. It could be actually going through and actually agreeing to buy a property, and now you're going through the due diligence like the guys in the group, or some of the new guys in the group, are doing now. How many of you guys get inspired by that? How many of you guys would actually like to talk to those folks who are in the middle of their first deal, going through the due diligence, seeing what they're seeing, doing what they're doing, feeling what they're feeling? Let me know in the comments below. Again, live or replay, because I think this is something that's very important. If you guys are looking at me and what I do, perhaps you don't think it's real. Perhaps you think I'm too far ahead of the game. Perhaps, whatever. Maybe just the way I do things is not something that excites you. But if you saw somebody doing things more of your speed, more of your caliber, more that answers the questions that you have, would you find that useful? Would you find that to be something that will help you on your journey? Well, that's what the group does. We have our own meeting space, digital meeting space. And it's a meeting space where I am on pretty much 24/7, because it's on my phone. And because it's on my phone, I'm always on it. I'm always responding. I'm always answering questions. And then from there, it's not all. We got coaching calls. We got accountability calls. We got coaching. We got mastermind calls. So we got different types of calls that we do as a group, where we're sharing information, we're sharing things, and we're doing it. And when people are not getting stuff done, not only do we all hold each other accountable, but we get to the bottom of everything. We figure it out so we can move forward together. Now that right there is pretty good nutshell, but that's not the last, that's not the final thing. Because it is a group and it's an investment group, we actually do invest together in both senses of the word. Together as we're all doing our own thing. We're finding our different areas and our different niches, and we're investing and we're talking about it and we're learning about different areas and things like that. But we're also, there's times when we go in together as a group for one property. Sure, the person who found it may be spearheading it, and they're the ones that are kind of putting the numbers together and they're doing most of the actual work. But we do have at least one property that a couple of us are invested in together. So now people don't feel like they're doing it alone. People don't feel like they're all like on the island hoping that they can kind of figure it out. And people wonder why a lot of people go through things and then they don't complete it. It ain't because they don't have the skill. It ain't because they don't have the work ethic. It ain't because they don't have the drive. It's because most people set things up for them to fail, leaving people on their own devices without a real place to get help, to get guidance, to make sure that they're doing things properly, to get that second pair of eyes to like, hey man, I got you, pat you on the back, you're doing a great job, keep going, or you know what, hey, you're going down the wrong path. You might want to consider these other alternatives. A lot of groups don't do that. They expect a bunch of newbies helping out other newbies, which is okay when everybody's starting out and they're on the first module or two. But what happens when you get past that because your work ethic's a little bit more, or you just happen to find an area that's more productive with your budget? What do you do then? When you're ahead of all the other newbies, and then the person who runs the group, they're nowhere to be found. How many times have you been part of a group? You paid money to be in a course. They promise you the world, but you've never once heard from the actual person running the shit. Comment below. What group was it? They've never they've never been around. You're talking to other people. They may or they may not be these other folks that are trying to help you out in the curriculum themselves. I've had that, and it sucks. Sometimes you want to make sure you're doing things right from the author, making sure like, hey, this is your course. I want to make sure I'm doing it properly. This is your program. This is your curriculum. I want to do it properly. Hey, this is where I'm at. How many people have gone through that and they don't get that type of information? I know I have. I didn't like it. That's why I made it different. Last thing is, as I said earlier in this talk, I'm running out of time. I am not the guru. I am not the leader of the group. I am a member of the group. Sure, I facilitate and I help most people out. But now that I'm teaching more and more folks, a lot more people are able to help out where they can. Because my experience and my what I've done in the areas I've invested in may not match what other people are trying to do. And sure, I can give my educated guess. I can, tap into my resources to find out more information and pass that along. But sometimes there's people right there in the group when we're on the phone or on a Zoom and we're talking to each other and we're conversing and we're asking questions and we're giving our own shares and experience and we're learning that way. Sometimes that's much better than having one leader, because I say it often in the group, and I'm gonna tell you guys this myself. It is often that the room is a lot smarter than an individual. All of our experiences combined, all of our thoughts combined, all of our unique perspectives combined, it's going to be much better than just having me just say, oh yeah, just do this. Sure, I also say, hey, yeah, just do this. I do it a lot. But sometimes that's not what the doctor ordered. Sometimes you got to do the whole thing as a group, and we learn and we push each other up together. So to recap, one, yes, there's videos. And if the videos are, I update them all the time. In fact, I just did two yesterday, two updated videos in the group. The videos are the stuff that I don't have to repeat myself with. That's all that is. But that's not where the magic is. The magic is in the group where we're interacting, where you're asking me questions one-on-one or asking other group members questions one-on-one, where we're investing together, where we're actually going in on a property together, or we're just kind of doing it together and we're making sure we're all holding each other accountable. It's when we're asking each other, hey man, you said you're going to contact 300 people today. Did you do it? When we're all there like, hey, you got to sell, and we're celebrating as if we got to sell. As if when we're in this group together and we have questions and we're answering. And where people don't feel like, oh my God, I asked too many questions, I feel like I'm annoying. No. What's annoying when people don't ask enough questions? Now, the question is the group right for you? That's something I can't tell you without having a conversation with you. A lot of people will start to ask, well, how much is the group? How much is the group? Well, that depends on where you are. That's like going to Costco and say, how much is this thing? Like, what thing? What are you looking for? What big of a size? What brand? Even though Costco basically have two brands, but I don't know until we talk. But I can tell you this, if you don't like to work, the group is not for you. If you don't like to communicate with other people, this group is not for you. If you don't like to share your success, the group is not for you. If you're more worried about the price and what you're actually going to get out of the group, it is not for you. Like, I don't understand that. Like, how are you going to be like, how much is this group? But you don't know what's really involved. You don't know what you're going to get out of it. So if you have a question on how much your group is, and you're going to base your decision if the group is right for you without even understanding what it can offer you and where you are, then it's not for you. The thing is, this group has to be tightly knit. I gotta protect it. I can't just let anybody into it, because one bad apple will ruin the energy of the group, and now people aren't doing the things that are helping us all succeed. Personally, without the group, I wouldn't be where I am right now, because I would be doing playing it safe. I wouldn't be taking the risk that I'm taking, calculated risk. I wouldn't be doing bigger and better things, because I wouldn't have anybody pushing me, encouraging me, rooting for me. And now, because of that, I'm actually doing things that I can't even talk about in the Facebook group right now. A little too far advanced. But if you're worried about how much is it and you don't know what I can offer you as a person to put together an individual package that's going to work for you and your needs, this ain't for you. That's simple. Go ahead and get one of those other courses that I talked about where they don't teach you real shit. They'll teach you the easy stuff about how to find a property and how to pay a title company $10,000 or $2,000 or $1,500 to do something that it'll take you 30 minutes to do. It'll take them 10 days to 30 days. Go ahead and do that. Don't get help from the people who put the course together. Get help from another member who is in the same spot that you are. They're not ahead of you. Go ahead. If that's what you worry about the price, they'll put their price right there up front. I have customized boutique pricing. Depending on where you are and what you need is to dictate the price. That's what it comes down to. Other than that, hopefully this gives you an idea of what the group offers, why I'm so excited about the group, why I keep talking about it and the wins that we're collecting there. And maybe that will answer some questions for you. Hopefully you understand a little bit more of what it's like to work with me and invest with me. And hopefully you understand more of what can happen if you do take land investing seriously. You know what? That's the one thing I didn't say, how much people are winning. Huh. Well, you have to join a group and find out, because I didn't get permission to ask if I can brag about certain things. Every time I brag about the group, I always get permission first. So if you want to know how much people are winning, how many sales people are doing, how much money we've collected as a group, we'll join. If you want to have accountability, you want someone to push you, you want to make sure you're doing your part in learning these skills and learning it from people who are actually doing it every day, who are where you used to be and can show you about the different pitfalls and different traps to avoid, hit me up. If you are ready to take your financial future into your own hands, whether you're doing this for a side hustle, whether you're doing this for your career, and you are ready to go for it, for real, and step out of your comfort zone and have something a little more guaranteed and learn the skills, these high income skills, hit me up. That should be it for this. Probably went over a few minutes. Hopefully there's no questions. If there's questions, please ask them in the comments. I didn't get the chance to look at them while I was ranting to you guys, but I'll always go back. I'll always answer them. And if you want to hit me up, I'll put a link below, or just actually send me a personal message or something. Say something in the comments. Say, hey, Coach Vic, hook me up in the comments. Say something. I'll find you. We can have a conversation. I can see where you are right now in your land investing journey, whether you're a brand new beginner or you've been land investing for a little while and you just need some help with your systems, or you're just wondering why you're not getting the sales that you want and why things are taking so long. Hit me up. All right. Other than that, it's Coach Vic. I'm signing off. I appreciate your time. Thank you for joining me at this early time. Now, I just made a sale, so I got to get this deed recorded and sent off to the county. So that's why I had to do this early. But other than that, peace.